Hey there!
Hey,
We are Bears in Excess.
I'm Eric.
I'm Christian. This is the Bears in Excess show, the second season,
Season 2.
season 2. This one. So this episode is going to be interesting because it's kind of a do-over.
Yeah.
Kind of. Basically, 11 months ago, we talked to this guy twice.
Paul Middleton.
Yeah, 2 videos. One was him about his career, and other was with his partner Kim.
A special that we had for Valentine's Day.
Yes, you have the logo here. Couples 1, 2, 3 tag.
If you could get rid of something of your partner's, what would it be?
Nothing.
Ah.
No, it's 3 seconds, but I have no answer for this. No, I think everything is perfect like this. It works really well. This is what he is, and there's nothing what I want to
So
say.
no argument today. Good.
And our idea was to post that video for Valentine's Day, and we did. But then, Valentine's Day, ironically, something happened to me, to my health. I had a huge health issue.
He actually died for 6 minutes.
Yeah, so I know more. I'm going to post a link for the video made about it. It was a long story to go over here.
Oh, yeah.
And so the second video made with Paul, we never posted, never edited, didn't have a chance after all.
Yeah, hospital is not the best place to
And
work
when
on.
I was in hospital, editing videos in the hospital doesn't work.
Nurses kept coming in.
And it's not comfortable at all. So I didn't edit the other video. So since been 11 months, many things happen. We thought, let's talk to him again. Plus, I love talking to him anyway, so
Yeah.
it doesn't hurt. So has many good interesting things happen in this time. So I'm gonna talk to him about his new album, new things,
His new
project.
calendar.
Yes.
Everybody's looking for something. Some of them want to use you. Be young forever. I look around and since that an eternal flame, I believe.
But let's bring him first. So let's have him here. Hey, Paul.
Hey, Paul.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you? How's Germany?
Really well, really well. I don't know if you can tell, but we're getting Christmas ready here. We've decorated the flat, and we have to kind of be organised here because of work schedules and stuff. If we don't do it, December's quite a busy month, so we have to kind of stay on top of it, get our Christmas stuff done early, and then so we're kind of getting Christmas ready.
It's amazing, right? 11 months ago we talked.
Yeah,
Like seems like yesterday. Wow, what was yesterday? Come
it was in a way.
Yeah.
And then, so let's update with your things. There's so many things happen since
Yeah.
on your side.
Well, both of us, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, you guys as well, but yeah, it's been a crazy but good year.
So you've recently released your 2023 calendar.
This one.
Oh yes,
This one?
yes. Happy
And
New-
here's the one we got from last year,
oh yeah,
2022, and it's autographed.
here it is.
Yeah.
I've got the new one.
So how can people order theirs?
Okay, well, actually, I mean, it's good news for me. Maybe not so good news for everyone, but there's only 7 of these left now. But if
Oh,
you,
wow.
yeah. So if you would like to, the link, as you boys have nicely put, is there, and you can get it from my store, my Bandcamp store.
Cool.
Are there plans to make more, or once the 7 are gone?
I think they're probably once they're gone, because what I don't want is like a room full of Paul Middleton calendars, and
Well, how long have they been out?
they've been out for a month, just over a month, and it's the people have responded really well to it. And I mean, this is my 5th calendar. I've been doing calendars kind of, for I think every year for the past five years. And they've got a little bit more risque, but they're not like super risky. It's not like
I
OnlyFans.
noticed that. Like, oh, Paul.
Oh yeah, I would just say this is kind of like flirty and sexy and fuzzy.
Flirty is good.
fun, and it's something I get to express at this time of year. And just have a little bit of flirty, festive goodness.
And also something people sometimes they underestimate these things because it's actually important to help you because you take so much time working on your career and your stuff. You need help, so you don't do.
Yeah,
survive.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the calendar is kind of definitely one way of doing that. The new album is definitely doing that. So I'm going to blatantly plug my new stuff. Oh, you're showing my Patreon as well. So basically, this is also available from my store, and you can get a nice deal with the calendar and this. And even if the calendar's not there anymore, you can. I'm giving away Covers 4 as a freebie at the moment with Covers 5. So all this is a really good way to kind of support independent artists. So I'm speaking on behalf of independent artists here. Like, so if you don't know, Spotify, Apple, and all those don't really look after artists very well, and so we have to look for alternative means. And so merchandise is the way to do that, you know. And the other way is that you just had earlier on my Patreon link. My Patreon is kind of like a super what? Cheers, boys. Yeah, it's kind of like my super fan kind of site. Again, it's not like an OnlyFans, but there's exclusive content on there, kind of like more singing, more music, questions and answers I do with my fans and listeners. Some fans I kind of call once a month. There's different levels you can choose, and my top live patrons I've really got to know really, really well and developed really great relationships with. And that's actually been one of the joys, not just with my top patrons, but all my patrons who kind of like get involved with like asking me questions and like respond to things that I'm not sure about. So Patreon is very much like a little safe space, and they're kind of like not my management, but like my advisors and stuff. So if I'm not sure on something, I will kind of say, which album cover should I kind of go with? So initially I put this out actually to my patrons, but then I asked everyone, it's a 2 CD disc, but the question was whether to go with the black and white as the front or the color. The color just won, but I know many people vote for the black and white. So what you can do is you can still have that as a black and white front cover. So my Patreon has been like a really, really wonderful thing for me. I'm extremely grateful for it as well.
And by the way, I should congratulate you for your hard work, because we follow your social media, you see how hard you work to put things out, because people having a page, we know how hard these things are.
Oh yeah.
So people say, I want to have a new page for myself. They think, and then a week later they give up because it's lots of work.
It's a lot of work.
You can just do a page and.
Yeah, like you're absolutely right. You know how hard work it is, and like I think I do make things difficult for myself because I'm so passionate about music and I love kind of like singing and I know that it's been an ongoing learning experience for me, and I think I do think, and I think I'm one of the hardest working independent artists out there, certainly in the community in terms of putting stuff out for people. Sometimes I think I'm posting too quickly because a couple of my fans and listeners are like, I can't keep up, in a really positive way, because like one day they'll spend a Sunday afternoon just kind of like going through my Instagram and stuff and just and watching and which is great about social media. So it's a positive thing about social media.
Yes, and you work very hard for that.
Yeah,
it's very interesting.
And you could tell because of all the things you're doing.
Yeah, I think the biggest. This is a real positive, and kind of like I never know how people are going to respond, and because music is really subjective and it's a personal experience for every single person. It's something very special to each of us. So when I put something out, I never know how it's going to be received. And so what has been lovely this year is to see the growth from last year to this year, and it's for me it's reassuring because it kind of shows that I'm on the right trajectory, kind of like going upwards, and I kind of feel like I'm in a real positive place to kind of now start my next project, which will be writing and hopefully getting some of my own songs produced, which I'm really excited about.
Yes, I'm gonna ask about that soon, because first I'm gonna talk about your current
Covers 5
album.
Yeah,
so about Covers 5.
Well, Covers 5 is kind of, as it says on the tin, it's not there. So Covers 5 is it's a 2-disc album. It's also available as a download with 20 songs. The majority of it is kind of well-known songs that you love. So from covers 5, I think this changes all the time what my favorite one is, but my favorite three my favorite 3 songs are Eternal Flame by the Bangles, a song called Better, which is really not very well known, but it's a beautiful song. And also I'm kind of loving the Eurythmics' Sweet Dreams. I did like a very dramatic orchestral version of it. Oh wow, yeah. And I'm really proud of it because I love the Eurythmics. I love Annie Lennox. I think she's a great advocate for the community, and she's also a wonderful human being. So I was a little bit nervous covering Sweet Dreams because I think it means a lot to a lot of people, and I'm always nervous at recording any song by another artist because obviously they're well loved. And I'm really excited by Sweet Dreams because it's kind of goes into this chaotic sound of horns and strings, and it just sounds like going from a dream into this kind of like almost nightmare world a little bit. It's very dramatic, my version, as the song progresses, and I'm super proud of it. And also on that, which is perfect timing really for now, but maybe not so much when people see this, is there's some Christmas songs on the album, ranging from Winter Wonderland and then some kind of like Christmassy themed songs, so I did a cover of the Spice Girls' Two Become One, which was a Christmas #1 in the UK, and it was released around Christmas time. And also another beautiful song, which I don't think many people will know, is called Stay Another Day. And it's about, it's a beautiful song. It's recorded by a band called E17 originally, who are fantastic. And the song was written by one of the band members about his brother, who I think committed suicide, and the song is about I Want You to Stay One More Day, and it's a really lovely song, and so that's on there, but as well as some other Christmas classics like Sleigh Ride, Let It Snow, Have Yourself a Merry Christmas, and White Christmas as well. So the download, it comes up with like I think 20 songs, a mixture of like pop songs and then some festive songs, and then covers 5 is kind of like a 2-disc CD. And what I've kind of done is just to kind of, I want to give value to everybody, and so for those people that get this, there's also covers 1 and covers 2 on here as well. So it's kind of like 3 albums on this 2-disc thing, and so I'm very, very proud of it, and it's gone down really well. People are loving it, and people telling me what their favorite songs are, and that's one of the best things, is because you kind of think, oh, I hope people like it, and so when people kind of go, oh, I love this one, I love this one, I love this one, and it's great to see the variety as well, because sometimes you think there's a clear winner. Think, oh, people are going to love this one. I thought Eternal Flame would be like maybe the more, the favorite. And it has been, but there's other ones on there like September by Earth, Wind and Fire, Teenage Dream, Katy Perry. That's been a popular one. And Cold Heart, the Elton John and Dua Lipa recent song, like I did like a very slow version of that. So for me, I kind of really enjoyed the best bit is hearing what people are enjoying. And that's a reward in itself.
And speaking of enjoying, in the other albums, so hold on, wrong image, this image here.
Actually, no, I mean, that's, at the moment, the deal is people that get covers 5, they can get that as well. So I'm really kind of being very, more than fair, really. Some people have said, are you sure this is a wise thing to do? But at the moment, just for this time period, those CDs that you've kind of got, you can get my whole back catalogue, really, I think for £12 at the moment. My whole catalogue are on these, so it's 4 CDs for £12. But this one won't be there forever. You'll have to kind of like pay for that separately eventually. But at the moment, Jisoo, I'll be coming on, 2 become 1 until one day it'll just be that one. But the covers 4 and 3 will still be there as well, but just as a separate. You have to pay for that separately at one point.
But if you listen to those albums again, do you think, oh, maybe I could record differently the songs you did already?
Yeah, would you do anything differently?
Yeah, for sure. I think in the first two albums, there's only me as a voice. There's really, especially the first album. The first album is just pure solo. I don't think there's any BV. So the black and white picture, there's 10 songs on there, and it's just purely me. And then covers 2, I think there's a few more backing vocals kind of come in, and it's weird, like the progression and of the styles of music, but as well as kind of like the arrangements and the production has changed massively from covers 1 to covers 5. So covers 1 is very much kind of me. I'm trying to prove myself as a singer to people, and I think it did the job. And then covers 2, you hear a little bit more of a dance influence with a song called These Days, which is a little bit EDM. And then covers 3, I that evolves into kind of like dance, pop dance, and these ballads, which are, you know, people kind of associate with me with. And then I think kind of as covers 4 came, I kind of mixed that a little bit more and more. And covers 5 is slightly more dancey than ballady now, because I don't know. I love to dance. I love to dad dance. I'm a great dad dancer on stage. When I gig on stage and when I sing on stage, I bust the dad move out from time to time. And you know, I love to dance. You know, in my 20s and 30s, I used to go to the clubs, and just I used to love like taking my shirt off and dancing. And I mean, that's a different style of music, but because most of the time it's kind of like house and a bit more heavier stuff. And I'm a pop kid. I am a pop kid at heart. You know, I love the 90s. That's my kind of like the 80s and the 90s. But that's my era. So pop music, I think, for me was the best then. It was a golden era of pop music.
Okay, so we were talking earlier, and you mentioned that you wanted to release another album of your own songs.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I've been incredibly nervous to release my own material, and I'm sure people have wondered, why are you not releasing your own music? Why are you doing covers? And I think, you know, I'm talking as a gay man now. To write and to lay my soul out there, I have to be incredibly authentic. And, you know, I think it's taken a long time to kind of really work on and find out who the real Paul Middleton is, because, you know, as a child and as a teenager, you struggle with your sexuality and you bury it to survive in society. Like in school, you know, bullying was rife. And, you know, I learned very quickly that I had to kind of put on a front to survive and to get by in school. You know, that's how I survived. And you know, and through my 20s, you don't realize it's still there, that this traumatic experience is affecting you. And I read this book called The Velvet Rage, and I only got to the second chapter because that's kind of where I became more self-aware of the trauma, kind of like suppressing a lot of things about who I am as a gay man. And so my 30s was kind of like slowly untangling that. And then I kind of feel now the last 3 years, I'm now becoming more confident with who I am as a gay man. And so therefore I kind of feel I can be more authentic in my writing as a gay man, but also as a person, because, you know, for me, my sexuality doesn't define me, but it's definitely a strong part of who I am. You know, I love my community to bits. And so when I do record and write and get my album produced, I want it to come from here, and be an honest kind of reflection of who I am, rather than something which doesn't feel right. And
yeah,
I don't want to put out anything which kind of isn't 100% genuine, you know, because for me, music has to be genuine and sung from here. And, you know, I do sing from here for the covers. You know, those songs all mean something to me. You know, a lot of them are to do with mental health. You know, there's songs that have helped me, or songs that kind of just let some emotions out. But this album is kind of I'm very excited about it. And that's kind of what, you know, the album and the calendar are for, is to help me raise funds to be able to do that, because making music is not cheap. You know, it's an expensive process, and I gave up my teaching career to do this, and so I need to survive. And so by doing the calendar and covers 5, it's a way for people to kind of go, you know, we'll support you, Paul. go for it, you know. And so this is stage one of kind of raising those funds for me to be able to do it, basically.
Interesting is nowadays you can't just be just a musician. You have to be a musician and PR and marketing, everything together in one. Because it's not just expensive to hire other people, but sometimes it's hard to count other people to do things that you do on your own.
Oh yeah,
if you want to make it happen. So that's tough.
Yeah, it's really tough. I mean, you know, I can speak for every single independent artist out there. It's not just me, but we all kind of have ups and big downs. You know, most of the time you kind of feel alone. I know I'm not alone, but in my music world, I kind of sometimes feel I am alone because, like you just said, you're doing the PR, you're doing the marketing. I mean, really, as even at PR, I tried PR once, and you know, it's a lot of money, which could end up being nothing. You know, which might not mean anything, and so I'm not at that place yet. So it's not something really anymore that I learned from that. It's not something I'm going to invest in. You know, and social media has given me an opportunity to kind of be visible and to show people and kind of go, hey, here's a song, I hope you like it. And you know, and if they do like it, they come on board this journey with me, and I love them to bits. You know, they're in my heart from then on. And you know, like I said, I know with the Patreon, but even with my regular fans and listeners, you know, I've built up some great friendships and genuine kind of like connections with people, which you know, is just so fulfilling, and I feel so lucky that I have that, you know, because it is a very, very difficult world, and I often ask myself, why am I doing this to myself? And you know, it's part of that creativity. You want that outlet, you know.
You like at home having breakfast with Kim and I had to just have an idea for my page. It's kind of thing.
Well, actually, on my phone, I have lyrics, kind of like I write lyrics down in the oddest times. You know, lyrics and actually melodies as well will kind of come to me, and I'll write them down because I know they're gonna come and be part of, you know, a song at some point, hopefully.
And you speak about songs.
So what do you want your listeners to feel when they're listening to your music? What is the message that you're trying to convey?
Well, through covers, I think that's difficult because it's not necessarily your words, but I think through the voice, like certainly through the ballads, you know, people to feel relaxed, to feel safe, you know, to kind of feel a sense of comfort. But also, I want listeners to feel inspired. You know, that I'm a guy in my 40s, and you know, I'm in an industry which is for kids, you know, for young people, and I'm so grateful that I have a seat here, and I get to be able to have this conversation, and I hope that kind of inspires other people in the community, because, you know, especially you know, in the gay world, you know, being of a certain age is kind of like, well, you're over and done with. But I think you know, we all have experience to bring to the table. You know, a lot of us have lived life, and you know, I'm going to sound like a dad here, but just like maybe passing that wisdom down, you know, to younger people, so people don't make the same mistakes or whatever. So I hope, you know, that by representing, I inspire some people, and also through the voice, you know. Some people have kind of said to me on certain songs, I don't know which songs, but have said, "Oh, I can fall asleep to you," which actually, in some ways, is actually a very powerful thing, because sleeping is a very personal thing, because that's when you're switching down. I think it's come away with me, and from Covers 3, I know that was one song, but there's a few other songs which are just like help people to relax. So, but yeah, when I was first told that, I was like, oh God.
But it's about this relation with fans. At the same time, you have some good side, but have some creepy things too. Some creepy fans, like they overboard. They mix the signals. Like, okay, but no, I'm not saying that. Don't think that. You know.
Yeah, I think I don't know about you guys, but I mean, they're not even fans. This is the thing. So, and actually, this has just happened recently. It makes me uncomfortable at times. But so when I do post to advertise the calendar, you know, I'm showing that. You know, it kind of. This is on social media now because I'm not on any of the apps. But on social media, I think some people kind of think immediately that you are looking for sex or you're fair game for kind of, you know. So sometimes in my inbox, I'll get the occasional picture and I'll just be like, I'm never rude because, you know, I've been there, you know. So you kind of open up with a conversation with a picture. You know, what I always try and say to everyone is, I would rather get to know you rather than anything else. You know, you don't need to open up with that kind of picture. You know, let's have a conversation. You know, and some people don't understand it, so they block me, and because I've angered them and I've upset them, which is not my intention. You know, but I just kind of want to show people that, you know, I want to treat you like a human being, not like I don't want to treat you like a sex object or anything like that. You know, and that's where I am in my life. And you know, sometimes I've got into arguments with people, and I'm trying to justify and say, look, well, you know, read the room, look at my social media page, and you'll see it's flooded with music, with the odd picture where, you know, I've got my top off or I've got my legs out or whatever. You know, so that, you know, you clearly haven't read the room. You've just responded to a picture, which is flattering and wonderful, and you know. But I'm not that type of person because they can be quite demanding, and I'm just trying to gently tell them, you know, that's not who I am. I'm sorry, you know, I'm in a relationship. You know, I tell them all these things and they don't get it. They just don't get it. So sometimes, you know, I will annoy people. And the sad thing about this is also it stops me from wanting to post kind of, you know, more of those kind of shots. I mean, not even that it's something I need to do. But I'm always wary. It's like, okay, I hope this doesn't trigger a kind of, you know, a response. And the flip side of that, and this might be a positive in some ways, it's not though, is when people share. So on Facebook, someone shared the calendar picture, and I think it ended up in kind of a group in India or that kind of area. And so it went viral, like my version of viral, by the way, like, you know, it got thousands of likes, and I got all these messages all of a sudden, you know, and it's really sad because you see all these men who want connection based off that picture, you know, and I don't know what to, that's when I get overwhelmed. Like that's when it affects my mental health because I can see, you know, in these countries, these poor people are kind of like, you know, are scared for their life, you know, for being out. And so they reach out, you know, and it's not just me. I know my friend Drake, who's a country artist, you know, he's had the same thing. And he's had to kind of, you know, take a step back or whatever from messages. And you know, I had this, like, loads of messages and I was just like totally overwhelmed where they, you know, they all want that attention. And I don't have that time to give them that attention, you know, and something I've had to learn is I have to kind of stop worrying about letting people down. I have to look after, you know, my mental health because otherwise if I'm not in a good place, I cannot do what I love to do, and, you know, which is music. So it's interesting kind of how those pictures can kind of have a negative and then like a positive, but also then reveal a negative of it, you know. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Your relations, you're very open about what you think, what you feel. You always post your things online, like this thing you post on Twitter recently.
Right. So you were talking earlier about feeling safe. So we saw that you had tweeted this on Twitter. Can you tell us more about it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, as a community, we kind of like we have this negativity all around us as it is. And then for me, like so first of all, what happened at Club Q was awful. And then, you know, that's meant to be a safe space for us, for where we can be ourselves, where we can hold hands, where if that's what we want to do, where we can kiss if that's what we want to do. But it's our space, it's our playground, and it's kind of, it feels like well, what did happen was the bully, in this case a murderer, came in and killed 5 beautiful souls, and so that was one thing. And then I am I support England. I'm from England, and I've watched the World Cup. I remember kind of David Beckham, Alan Shearer, that kind of generation. From then on, I supported England. And the whole thing with Qatar and the Middle East, again, all these like things you pick up on social media just kind of got to me, like, the thing that's happening to women's rights in there, like no voices and all that kind of stuff. And so with Qatar, when they banned the One Love, armband, I was just like, and I was just annoyed, but also the hypocrisy. And I'm glad it's been called out and people are talking about it. Is one of my, not heroes, but someone who I admired as a gay man because he was straight, was David Beckham. And I was really disappointed by his choice of being a spokesperson and kind of going out there, but not just him, but also a lot of other people I looked up to. I think Gary Neville's out there, Roy Keane is out there. I was a Manchester United fan at one point before I stopped all that, and so I was just like, and it got me thinking just kind of how corrupt and it's sad that money talks. And so it got to me, and I just felt everything kind of go whoop like that. The world felt smaller. I felt hated. I felt unsupported. So I've not watched any of the World Cup. My partner Kim, who runs a bar, any kind of drinks connected to the World Cup, he said no, we're not selling it, and they're not playing the World Cup. So is it going to make a difference? No, probably not. But I was stupidly went into all these forums on Facebook who were discussing, and what was sad to see was a lot of people saying, oh, it's just football, play the game, just football, play the game. Now, two things from that, and this is hopefully to educate people as well, is that a lot of these people are actually not real people. A lot of them are bots. Because I responded to maybe 6 or 7 of them saying something, not necessarily to get a response, but just trying to be quite diplomatic. And only one person responded, genuinely responded. So I think a lot of some of these Facebook sites have bots doing comments, to trigger people probably, because once you engage, it kind of helps the algorithm, all that kind of stuff. But anyway, I was there fighting the corner for LGBTQ plus people, and I'm just kind of saying, it's the World Cup, not the Qatar Cup. The World Cup is meant to be inclusive. The armband is meant to represent, anti-discrimination. Trying to kind of not necessarily just kind of lead in with the LGBTQ plus, reasons, but just kind of be open to everything and just make people aware. And then it comes down to religion. So I was very passionate about this, and it's kind of the most passionate I've been. But and I'm grateful that you kind of put that up, because I kind of sometimes feel like I'm fighting in silence, really, and it's kind of like no one's got your back. But not that anyone should have my back, because I'm standing up for what I believe in. But sometimes it again, it can get to your mental health a little bit.
Yeah, can be.
And we have your back.
Yeah.
Love you. Yeah, I know you do. I have yours, by the way.
And they're in December already.
Oh yeah.
So another year is ending. So what are your plans for next year?
So I think kind of after Christmas, I'm probably going to try and reduce social media for a little bit, because my next thing is to kind of find producers now who will kind of want to work, not just work, but put their heart and soul into this as much as I care about it. That's half the battle, I think, with the music industry. Is there's so many sharks out there that'll just say, give me the money. So that's probably going to take me maybe 2-3 weeks, maybe a month. Then obviously there's the writing, getting the music that's so I really need to kind of focus on that really. So social media probably won't be as anything as much as it is at the moment. But I think I deserve. I think I'm well within my rights to kind of like pull away from social media for a little bit, because as I said earlier on, as you guys recognise, I work really hard to kind of keep people happy. I love doing it, but I have to balance. If I want to take my own album seriously, I have to kind of put 100% into it. And social media can sometimes be a little niggling thing in the background saying, "Paul, you haven't posted," or "Paul, you need to post something," and or "Paul, you've got to promote this," or whatever. So yeah, I think the first part of next year might be a little bit quiet. Then maybe summer, hopefully have some gigs. I would really love to sing at some prides. I did my first one this year, would you believe, after so many years of singing. And I think what's positive about prides now is prides are now cottoning on that the scene is getting more diverse. So it's not just drag queens now that should be on the stages. Actually, people want to see your trans artists, your bear artists, your queer artists, your drag artists as well. They want to see, people want to see diversity, because that's what makes us a great community. So for me, I would love in the summer or, to sing at some prides. And then hopefully off the back of maybe September, put my first song out. I don't know. Well, in terms of recording and releasing music, that's I'm not sure about that yet. But I would definitely like to do some more gigs next year, and certainly for the community.
So it's going to be a busy year. So I'm going to suggest people to follow you. There's the bandcamp.com.
And don't forget, there's only 7 calendars left.
Probably less by the time this comes out. But
Disappointed.
I mean, if people really would like a calendar, then obviously I can get some more made. But the problem is when you bulk order, the price comes down. When you order like a random few, the price is more. So that's kind of, I'm not sure if it'll be worth it for people then. But maybe I'll keep the door open for that. You got me thinking now anyway. But anyway, yeah.
Make a limited amount, like 100, or like not a high, like 1,000.
Well, no, but that's what I've done. I made this. The first batch was a limited amount, and I stupidly, I looked at last year's and compared to this year's, and I thought, okay, let's project a little bit more. But maybe I under-projected. The thing is, I always get nervous, kind of, because really this time of year now, from now on, people are thinking more about presents for other people rather than for themselves. That's just from experience. So I'm not saying you can't go buy your calendar. You can buy my calendar. It's fine. But I kind of feel like first of all, I'm really grateful, and I'm overwhelmed by the support. That to only have 7 left or whatever is wonderful. But if people definitely wanted one and they'd be willing to kind of just pay a little bit more for it to cover that cost, then that's not a problem. I'll be down with that.
Yeah. So you have the Patreon.
Yep.
People to follow you. Yeah. And also very important to go to the Linktree, which is very helpful.
Yeah,
place.
Linktree is really helpful.
You can find several things, not just those. We mentioned the other things from his Linktree.
Yeah, my social media channels are on there, and I have a mailing list where I give people 3 free tracks once they sign up to my newsletter thing, and so there is freebies on there as well. And then once you become part of the mailing list, once you get an email, there's a couple more free tracks you can get. So I don't really promote it enough to kind of go, but I do try and look after people that kind of want to show some kind of curiosity about me. I am genuinely grateful for any kind of affection. Like I said, I kind of feel like, I'm in my 40s now. I'm in a young person's playground, and it's very hard to kind of compete and be heard and seen. So anyone that kind of shows me, any kind of attention or anything like that, or supports me musically, I love them to bits, and yeah, so.
Yeah, every support is important. Like you said, now you're working basically full-time in that, so you need all the support you can to keep going because it's expensive, it takes time.
Oh, yeah.
It's not easy. So everything you can.
Right, and it's great that it's so great that you guys are aware of that as well. You know, because it makes having a conversation easier because you relate. I relate to you, and you can understand me. So it's lovely, and also just on a separate note, I want to say a massive thank you to everything that you do for the community. You know,
Thank you.
your stories and your events that you do. You know, your organisation as well. It's just wonderful, and you know, I sometimes think people don't appreciate enough what they have, but you guys really do kind of count for so much of bringing the community together from all over the world. So thank you.
In our case, it's volunteer. That's even worse.
Yeah,
Worse in the sense that
we're not even getting paid for
you
it.
don't get paid. It's time to
But-
think about it, but we don't know how to do
If
it.
you do want to get us a coffee,
Yes. So any message like to tell people? Anything you want to say?
I just kind of want to say to anyone watching this, is my name's Paul Middleton. I feel put on the spot now. First of all, I'm just very grateful for if you've watched this far of the video. Thank you so very, very much. I love singing. I love music. It's my passion. And I love being part of the Bear community as well. Even though sometimes I feel like an imposter, you know, sometimes I think, oh, I'm not hairy enough or whatever. But for anyone that kind of feels like that, you are always welcome in the Bear community, regardless. Sometimes it's a mindset, it's not about the physical. Also, love yourself. I know RuPaul says that, but it is so true. It's learn to love yourself really authentically and genuinely, because it will make you a happier person. And don't always go for sex straight away. Try and get to know people.
Yes. That's the reason why for this show we have, because I want to show guys not just about the pictures. There's a huge diversity. There's so many talented guys in different fields that it would be nice to show them, not just a sexy picture. Oh, yeah, but there are more. There's more things than that.
oh yeah,
It's a deep thing.
It's wonderful because once you get to really know people, you can find things in common. And I think that's much better to build something with something more authentic. And I think sometimes we lack that in the community. Don't get me wrong, sex is great, you know, you can still do that. But I think some people focus too much on that and don't worry about building genuine, authentic connections with people. I sound really old and I'm probably so more people going, but that's just my experience, you know, and everyone's on their own journey. So, yeah.
Well, we're becoming a daddy. Very soon going to become a daddy bear.
Yeah.
We reached it already, but now you're still going there.
Yeah, I do feel someone called, you know, I do get called daddy and I get called zaddy as well. And I'm cool with that. I have no problems with those labels because I know that, you know, I find daddies attractive and zaddies attractive and, you know, and young people attractive as well. So, you know, I'm quite open in that respect. And yeah, I'm growing more hairs in my chest.
For the next year's calendar.
Yeah. Well, actually, there is a pic where the thing is with me, I have a triangle here of hair, and I call it like my upside down Superman because like Superman has like the triangle like that, whereas with me I'm like that instead. So I'm like the Superman wherever he is. But yeah, no, I it is growing. I'm definitely getting hairier every year. I've got hair on my arms, kind of, here, which I love. You know, I love getting old. I feel I grow with confidence with it, and I hope people do as well.
Yeah, I prefer myself now, the older myself now than my younger self then. Kind of thing.
sure.
I wish I was older then. Like, oh, I was.
Yeah, I totally get it. I wish I was this mindset way back, you know.
Yeah.
And this is what I was saying about educating and my hope for the younger generations, you know, is that, you know, as we become more open as a society and LGBTQ plus people get more accepted, that hopefully that where we are at in our lives, young people will kind of be like, oh, you know, and it'll be a positive thing. That's my hope for the future for our community.
So thank you so much for everything. It was always a pleasure talking to you. Hope it doesn't take another year.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So album come out, the new one, our own songs.
Your own songs, let us know.
We're going to do another.
Yeah, I would love to. And thank you so much for having me.
It'll be so nice.
And if you ever come to Canada, let us know.
There's no, maybe we can perform a Pride here.
Yeah, there's no harm in me trying and kind of, you know, going for it. it's definitely something I want to work on for sure. So and Canada is actually one of my top demographics on Spotify and Facebook and stuff. So I definitely have some audience there for sure.
Everybody's looking for something. Some of them want to use you beyond forever. I look around and since that an eternity.